Hey, what's going on, guys? Just figured I would check in on Seafair weekend with you, see what's going on. Let you know it's 3 o'clock, time for a cold one. I got me some Widmer Citra. So I'm going to pour this off real quick.
It is time for the finals in the Hyperlight Wakeboard Experience. Hyperlight Wakeboard Experience on
You don't want to see the wakeboards.
Some of the moves are hard to say. What's not hard to say is Greg Nelson. He's with Hyperlight. He's going to take
Trying
us
to keep this stable. I don't have my tripod. I need to go and get it.
Right, the final four.
Luke, will you go get my tripod?
Is it downstairs?
Yeah, it's down on the bottom deck. So you can see this beer is very light. Very, let me mute the TV here. Yeah, this beer seems like it's super light in color. It's like a blonde ale. It's got a nice citrusy aroma though. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, I like that for a summer day. So like I say, it's about 3 o'clock. I think the finals are coming up here pretty soon. I figured I would get a little bit of that on film. I don't want to try to make it as long as the other film. I don't know if you guys are totally bored with it being that long or not. It's about 79 degrees, I think, 78, 79. So it's, you know, it's comfortable. It's nice. It's a nice, pleasant day today. First beer of the day. Delicious. All right, there we go. Now I can sit and have a beer with you guys. Kind of enjoy the afternoon. Let's see what's going on over here. You can see Jenny outside or not. Just got done bathing all the dogs. So when some Seafair stuff comes on, I'm watching the wakeboarders right now. We got some gal out there doing it. I got the sound off. I don't know if you guys saw this stuff for Seafair or not. They just started this a couple years ago, and they just pull them on cables. Is what they do.
I think, is this the one that's coming in right now? Okay, so
P8.
This looks like the...
Basically a 737.
Jen, you're a chemist. In fact, let's bring Evan in here. He's got his microphone on now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Egan, how you doing?
Egan, I'm doing great. This is a really exciting moment for us. You're seeing the first public display of the P8s here behind us, flying low and slow over the water. A critical part of what we do with this airplane to do maritime patrol, maritime security, both for the United States Navy as well as international partners that are part of this program.
All right, now that we've played musical chairs here, let's turn around and see the action with you. Let's settle on in. I think we're going to see this plane for the next, 6 minutes or so?
We are. He's going to make a couple of passes. He's going to showcase the performance of the airplane. We do maritime patrol. That's what this airplane does. It's important that it flies low and slow over the water. It's able to do surveillance for ships, for submarines, and as part of that mission, has to be able to maneuver like this. A little bit different than the commercial 737, but in many ways it takes advantage of the great capability that's already there.
And this was a replacement for the P3, an upgrade to the P3.
Correct.
And you
How important it is to our fans who are here watching along the shoreline, and those of you who are watching here on Channel 7. And one of the things you can't do in an event like this is without great sponsorship. And Rob Graham from Graham Trucking, we have seen you awarding trophies in the award stage area. We've seen you around your boat. You sponsor. This is a big deal, Seafair is for Graham Trucking, isn't it?
It certainly is, yeah.
2013 Albert Lee Appliance Cup.
And we continue on this beautiful Sunday. We've got more awards for you here for the F1 tunnel boats and for the unlimited hydroplanes. Take a look.
Continuing, and we have Mark Peterson. He's the announcer for the Arlington Fly-In. We're so glad to have you with us to give us some insight into the aircraft that we're seeing today. I mean, from the biplanes, and these are historic planes that are in the air right now, part of the Flying Heritage Collection.
They really are.
But again, on camera, a nice warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Angela.
So right now, I mentioned the Flying Heritage Collection. These are planes that were used in the Pacific Theater.
Right, we're seeing the B-25 right now, and of course this is the plane that was so famous with Jimmy Doolittle and the raid on Japan. And that's something in our history I think we really do have to mention this year, is they have their final reunion of Doolittle's Raiders this year, the last public one. And they are, out of the 80 pilots or so that are still that were involved in the raid, only 4 of them are still living. The Zero, of course, was the nemesis,
Japan used this one. Okay.
Yeah, and it really, this is a good example, I think, too, of different design philosophies. We're going to see the Hellcat flying here, too. The Japanese Zero was designed to be lightweight and turn on a dime. And so it's very maneuverable. It uses, if you look at it, it has a kind of a 1930s aerodynamic look to it, like an old speed racer from the 30s. And that's intentional because it's using a radial engine, a round engine, and they had to make it to fit. Yeah, here's the Hellcat, which was the airplane that eventually beat the Zero.
It beat the Zero. What did the Hellcat have that enabled it to take down the Zeros?
The primary thing was it had armor and was built rugged. And so the Hellcat could go in a dive and take care of the Zero. The Zero did not have self-sealing fuel tanks or armor. And so a couple of shots in the right location.
And they're down.
They'd explode. The Hellcat, on the other hand, could take a lot of damage and get you home. Here's a typical World War II scene there. The Hellcat chasing down the Zero.
And what was the thought process by the Japanese at the time not to include the armor? Was it just not there yet? Or
well, part of it is, anytime you add armor, you add weight. And so the more weight you add to an airplane, the less maneuverable it is.
I see.
And so they had to make these compromises as a part of the design. That's a beautiful foreshot of the Flying Heritage Collection. We've got some nice cumulus clouds building over the Cascades there.
And this
Today,
collection,
the Seafair Sunday could be one for the record books.
Yeah, but it's not the record that organizers wanted. Attendance appears to be way down this year. Folks who live near the pits in Genesee Park normally make a killing by renting out parking on their lawns, but many tell us they are struggling this year. The newest attendance figures are part of our team coverage on Seafair at 5 o'clock.
Also at 5, the uproar after dozens of geese were rounded up and killed at Lake Sammamish State Park. You'll hear from park officials who say they had no choice and animal activists who say they did. Plus, new video just in from Camano Island where the small plane crashed at a private airstrip. Both people on board survived. We are checking right now on exactly what happened.
Now for a bright spot to our day, quite literally, a quick check on the weather. Here's meteorologist Morgan Palmer. Morgan?
Yeah, temperature of 82 degrees at SeaTac today and mainly sunny skies. We have had some thunderstorms around Stevens Pass, so a little noisy this afternoon along the Cascade Crest. But in Seattle for your evening, temperatures dropping into the 70s. Coming up on Cairo 7 Eyewitness News at 5, we'll talk about even warmer temperatures on the way. We stay in the 80s. Some folks pushing the upper 80s as we go through this week. The hottest time of this week, that's all coming up.
All right, we will see you back here in the studio in a few minutes. Right now, back out to Lake Washington.
Here are your boats. The Oh Boy Alberto, the Graham Trucking, the U-22 Boitano Homes Performance Tools, the Miss Beacon Plumbing, Snoqualmie Casino, the Spirit of Cutter, and the U-9 Fox Plumbing is your trailer. Those are the boats in the Albert Lee Appliance Cup Final.
Tried your man hour, but he decided against it. Steve David is in lane 4 like I predicted, but he's got 3 capable boats inside. Maybe not quite as fast as Steve David, but he's got to be there at the line with them. He cannot let any of these 3 get away from him. Now we are at the point where you have to worry about the start-finish line and the jump. These are the various intervals where drivers have made their mistakes. We are awfully early. We're at 19 seconds now in the upper corner. This is only about a 9-second run to the line. So the drivers are going to have to throttle up. Now, where will Steve David be? He'll stay in the 4 lane, and he's going to stay out of trouble, but he's got some fast boats inside of him. This could be interesting. As they come down to the line, do we have anybody over the line too soon? I think maybe one. It appears it's the guitar. The cutter might be over the line too soon. Steve David in the 4 lanes coming across. Whoa, he's pinching just a little bit as they come through the corner. We've got somebody pitched down there. That could be a problem for someone, and it may very well be Steve David who might get in trouble over that one. As they come off the corner, though, Steven is moving down the back chute trying to catch the Graham Trucking, which has the lead with Jimmy Shane at the present time. We got a good boat race going down there, Chip.
We do. Jimmy Shane has not got quite the boat that Steve David does, but he has the shorter way around the course. And I think it's going to be really tough for Steve David to run him down. Jimmy Shane's getting away from him. He can't let that happen.
He's pulling away. Kip Brown was in the fracas there in the corner for a bit, and Kip Brown's got himself in trouble. It looks like we haven't got that official yet, but by our clock it certainly was. Steven is pulling an awful lot of horsepower down into that lower corner now at the end of lap number 1. It is the Graham Trucking, Jimmy Shane out front, and the Old Boy Alberto second. Physically in 3rd place is the Spirit of Cutter. And the 22 boat, that's Mike Webster in the Boitano Homes, is in 4th position overall.
Nobody jumped. We thought for sure from our perspective that Kip Brown jumped, but he did not jump.
All right, in that case, then Kip Brown is losing ground to the other two, and it appears that Stephen David is losing ground to Jimmy Shane. A little traffic in that upper corner, but staying outside wide is Jamie Nilsson. He's not going to get him in any kind of trouble up there. And Jimmy Shane has got well over the Rooster Tail lead going right now at the end of lap number 2.
Steve David is in trouble. Shane is increasing his lead lap after lap. Steve David is on the outside. Steve David is in big trouble right now.
And the water's pretty rough. There's been an awful lot of wakes down there. Steve David's riding some slop as he goes through that lower corner once again. Jimmy Shane has it all his way after 2 and working on lap number 3. And the Graham Trucking halfway down the back chute now, and it appears to be able to maintain its lead now. They've got some boat speed. Whatever bullet they put in this time was enough to match or exceed the Old Boy Alberto speed. Unless something unusual happens, that Jimmy Shane will be deprived of this Albert League Cup at Seafair. But if there's any possibility, the pressure remains on because the Old Boy Alberto is keeping up the speed and the pace, but he's still almost 2 rooster tails down.
I have to say that this year is a huge disappointment for Steve David. He came into the year with the best equipment. He wanted the Gold Cup. He didn't get it. If you can't get the Gold Cup, you definitely want the Albert League Cup. He's not going to get that. Big disappointment for Steve David and the Alberto team.
Checkered flag rises for Jimmy Shane. He will win the Albert Lee Appliance Cup at Seafair. It is the 5-boat Graham Trucking across the line first. Second, it is the Old Boy Alberto with Steve David. He will not tie Muncie's record this afternoon. A distant 3rd place. Spirit of Cutter is the 95 boat with Kip Brown. And way off in the distance, it is J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Plumbing, just coming out of the upper corner.